As you guys can see, all what we'll be doing today is, again, setting up Active Directory or Windows Server within this Eve instance, install roles, DHCP, DNS, ADDS, which is responsible for installing AD users and groups, which typically those functions of somebody that's on the help desk, resetting passwords or doing functions on a user account would be in charge of. So let's go ahead and jump in this and get started. Let's go ahead and start Windows Server. And let's say this wasn't on Eve. If I just had a computer that was a Windows Server, it would start just like you got a brand new PC from Best Buy. Let it boot up, let it do its thing, and then we'll go ahead and go from there. But typically, yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a server. It provides resources for an entire network. And typically, like I said, when you're at the help desk level or you're starting out, you're typically given access to a Windows server. You remote in, you RDP in or remote desktop into that server. Either you reset passwords, you create user accounts, which I'm sure Courtney probably already started doing, and Adamola, you probably done, and James, I'm sure you probably done. But all that stuff you would do in Windows Server. So I know for a fact that helped me throughout my career is being able to set up this at my home. So then I'll be able to go ahead and fast track on the job of my goal of becoming a network engineer. So, and this is how I practice. So let's go ahead and get started. Court, what's up, girl? You sneaked into the Zoom.
Introduction, because I was listening. I didn't want to interrupt or anything, so I was just like, okay, let me wait for a second and allow y'all to have your conversation. But what's up, everyone? Good evening. Of course, I'm Courtney. For some of those who I haven't talked to on the Discord channel, and I am glad to be a part of this session. See what's going on and to see if I can get some of my answers.
Oh yeah, you can get them here. Yeah, we talk about all kinds of stuff. That's for sure. All kinds of stuff.
And guys, just so I can, and Courtney, you probably don't want it, and Claude even hates when I brag on him, but I'm gonna brag on Courtney a little bit. Guys, Courtney legit, she did the proper steps to get her first IT job. She networked on LinkedIn. She got her first role. She's working on, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're a IT support specialist?
Yep, sure am.
Dude, and she did it. She jumped in. So it's I want to say this session is more so for her and other folks that are starting out. But yeah. Again, congratulations.
Yeah,
congratulations again, Courtney.
She got a come up story. Hers is a come up story. Courtney, I've seen you and followed you on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you definitely a come up story for real.
I really appreciate it, you all. Like that's one of the things with being able to, because like I said before, I'm coming from a whole different background, and anybody can do it. It's just being able to use all the resources and stuff.
Yeah.
And just not having the fear of talking to people. It's very important to talk to people and just network out and do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most def. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Can folks, you guys can see my screen. You guys see a big window that's showing to sign in. Yep. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. So typically, again, you wouldn't see this because it's pre-set up. But if you guys had your own server at home, you bought it from eBay, first setting it up, it'll take you through some setup steps. But we're going to presume that all the other stuff wasn't set up, so we're just going to log into Windows Server plain and set some stuff up. So I'm going to log in. I'm using Windows Server 2012 R2. We're going to log in. Default admin account, password. Whoopsies. Hold on. Let's. There we go. So we're going to log in, and then we're going to get in Windows Server. And so the network you guys see on the left, simple network. We got one PC that needs to connect to the Windows Server to get its IP address using DHCP and to get its DNS server information. So that's our goal. We're gonna set up a user account as well. And so We're going to set up a user account for everybody that's attending the session right now. And at the last 10 minutes, I'm going to have everybody go ahead and create their own account and then log into that PC. Let's go ahead, pull it up. And typically when Windows Server, every time it boots up, you're going to see a message that comes on the screen that says Server Manager. And what it is, it's basically a dashboard so that you can see, you know, quick setup, seeing, hey, here's what's running, here's the status of the services or roles that are running on this server. And this is important because then you can see, all right, you know, hey, I may, you know, a situation may be, user may call you, may call James, or may call Courtney and say, hey, I know you just walked in, but I can't connect to the network. And you log in, the first thing that you see on Server Manager is that DHCP is down. The service that's used to provide, you know, IP addresses dynamically to computers on the network, right? So Server Manager, it's pretty cool to you know, have a quick glance to take a look at, and I think they even enhanced it to the point to where you guys can just be, you know, if you guys set it up correctly, you guys can be on the road and log into this server, see a quick glimpse of Server Manager, and fix it. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's boot this bad boy up. And the first thing we're going to install DHCP, and we're going to test that out. This thing. So here's what we see. No services. Well, we got one. We got file and storage services, which is default, but we have nothing else. We don't have DHCP, DNS, or anything like that. So to install that, we're going to go ahead and go to manage, because we're going to manage our server or our PC, and we're going to add roles and features. So this wizard pops up, tells us, hey, you're going to install roles. You determine which roles that you want to install, yada, 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 and go from here. And it asks you right here, this is very important, but you guys will learn it down the line, role-based or feature-based installation. And I'll show you the difference in a few. All right, this is just showing me, you know, if I wanted to use this current server, or if I set up an entire mesh of servers that are connected to each other, I could have selected a different server from our server pool, but we're just running one server right now, so we'll keep it simple. All right, so anybody want to guess where I'm going to click on to go ahead and install these roles that I'm trying to install? Anybody? No right or wrong answer.
First is going to be the DHCP server.
Okay. All right. And then what else? Anybody else? Give it a shot.
We're going to do the DNS server.
All right. Now this last one may be tricky. Anybody know what the last one that I'm going to go ahead and install? Right up here, just to give you a hint.
I think it's the Active Directory Certificate Services.
Close. One step down. So Active Directory.
It's the domain services, yeah, the domain.
It's all good. Good stuff. So that's the three that we need for our lab. DHCP, so it can act as a server to hand out IP addresses. DNS, so it can do IP address to fully qualified domain name resolution, okay? And then we need Active Directory domain services, so we can have a directory for users, computers, printers, and network devices within our network. So, and this is the other part. I'm not sure if you guys remember as far as server roles, but server selection, it told us, hey, do you want this to be a role installation or a feature installation? This is where if you didn't want to install a role, you can just install a feature, and this is where you can do it. We'll probably have a lab on that probably in the future, but this is typically for a need basis, and it's probably rare that you'll need it, but again, it all depends based on your environment of where you work at. Tells us all the things that we should know about DHCP. Real good stuff, telling us about just DNS, Active Directory domain services. And once we click next, it confirms, hey, perfect, this is everything we're going to install. We're going to drop these in here. And then it also gives us the option, hey, do you want this server to restart? automatically if required. I typically like to click yes because, again, back to my help desk days, you know, typically a good old reboot never did no harm. So I'll go ahead and click that and let it install. And we just watch it install and run its course. And once this install is done, then we're going to move on to the next step. Any questions so far? I know that was kind of a lot, quick, or it might be pretty simple. I don't know. Thoughts?
That last option we selected, if we want it to restart automatically if required, does that come into play during installation if restart is required, or is that post installation when everything's already set up and it runs into issues?
Say that question again, James. I just want to make sure
I understand it. I was just trying to understand when that last option we selected for restarting, and I forget when it said it, if required or something like that, whatever it stated there. I was trying to understand when it would come into play, or when are they talking about restarting? Is that something that happens
okay.
Installation?
Okay. No, that's a good question. So there's certain roles and features that you install, like for example, Hyper-V, if you had to install it on here, right, for virtualization. If you had to install it there, then it's not going to start working until you restart the actual server / computer, right?
Oh.
So you may have started the role. Let's say we didn't click that box. You installed the role properly. Windows performed it, but it's not working until you restart the computer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. And so, you know, of course, let's say in a live environment, right? Production environment, they like to use those terms as far as regarding like a live work environment. If you guys go to work, hey, it's a live environment. It's called production, right? Typically, they don't do that. They plan that in a maintenance window, a window to where it's not going to affect anybody or everybody's aware. But yeah, typically, if it's a certain type of installation that it needs to be rebooted, I've seen so far these years that I've been in IT, they go ahead and do a restart.
Okay.
Always. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
Good question. Good question.
Okay, cool. So this next step, these next few steps, this is where I'm gonna take my time, and guys, please feel free to ask a whole bunch of questions, because this is where it gets tricky. So the screen we're looking at now is telling us the installation complete, all these roles and features that it added on installed. A couple of things we need to do before we can get it working, right? We don't have to restart because it didn't restart automatically, but we do need to go ahead for AD domain services. We need to promote this server has a DC or a domain controller before it can start working. And also, of course, before DHCP server can start working, we need to complete the DHCP configuration. So you'll typically see that for certain roles that you install on your server, it'll tell you the additional steps that you need to take. So let's go ahead and start off with promoting it to a domain controller. And within these settings, this is where we're going to give it the actual domain name. We can name it whatever we want. I'm going to let, just because again, I'm so proud of Courtney, I'm going to let Courtney name our domain. You can name it whatever you want. If you like comic books or what have you, we're going based on whatever you choose, Courtney. So when I ask you for the name, be ready. But but yeah, this is where we're now setting up our big network, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started and jump in. Don't worry about the terms right now. As far as you see forest, domain controller, existing domain, or what have you, don't worry about that. We're just trying to get it set up at the moment. We'll deal with that in future lessons, because Windows networking is a whole different beast, but it's a good beast if you learn it. So what we're going to do, this is one network. We're going to just call this one big forest. All right. So now I need the root domain name, and this is where I'm leaning on Courtney. Courtney, your favorite artist, comic book, anything.
Let's give
it to me.
Let's do Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite go-tos. Spider-Man Warrior.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. I like it. I like it.
All right, don't be scared when the Marvel questions start coming at you on the side.
Yeah, I can tell you about video. I'm into the video games too.
Oh snap! Oh snap! What you
I
on,
just-
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation 4.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Y'all don't understand. Courtney became my favorite person. Y'all, what's wrong with y'all?
Oh. Oh.
All right, so let's go ahead. So now we're just going to run through again, guys. I'm not explaining certain parts because I don't want you to worry about it at this moment. We're going to dig in later sessions. We're going to name this Spider-Man Warrior. Keep that still. NetBIOS, we'll cover that in a different session. Telling us where it's going to save these folders at on our Windows server. It's creating these folders for me. This is a section definitely recommend whenever you're starting up your virtual lab or what have you, or just a real live lab. Always check these just to make sure, okay, I got everything set. Okay, Spider-Man Warrior.net, everything looks good, perfect. So then you click next. Typically this part, Windows goes ahead and it's being your second pair of eyes. You can, any device, any network device, anything that you know of within a network, it'll let you do whatever you want. But if you do not, if you don't fulfill the requirements, it's going to tell you that you did something bad. So like we see here, I added an extra character on the end of the NetBIOS name and it failed. So I have to go back to the NetBIOS part and remove that so it can go ahead and finish the installation for AD domain services. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Now we're going to go back.
And then it also says about the maximum characters too, for 15.
Mm-hmm. So typically, guys, whenever you guys are, setting this up at your house, have your own little computer, booting this up, and mind you, you guys can do this at home. I, again, did secondary research today. You guys don't need a lot of, resources just for a simple lab like this. Now, when you get to your big lab, yes, you'll need more RAM, a bigger CPU, but yeah, something like this, if you just want to learn Active Directory, more than welcome to just have your laptop and be on the go. All right, so, my bad, Claude, go ahead.
No, that was actually something that I'm sitting here thinking about. I had that conversation I had with Ricardo, and also what I put up in the group Slack. I think it was in the I don't think it was the resources, but where I put the those 3 videos where I was talking about that first lab, because everybody always wants to talk about what should I lab, how should I lab, and I've always said start with your home stuff first.
Yeah.
Not to be afraid to crack that stuff open, because that's where your first lab started, with your PCs that you probably just take for granted that you got at the house.
Definitely. Yeah. Speaking of that, yeah, I did take my my grandma's PC. I didn't stole that from her. That was my first lab. So she won't miss it. She'll be all right. She'll be all right. But yeah, back to the lab. So you guys can see we did pass the prerequisite check. Of course, it's telling us a few things that, of course, we can keep in mind that you probably already know. No IP address has been assigned to this server yet. We haven't got there yet. No DNS server, which is all fine. We don't need that to go ahead and establish and install Active Directory domain servers. So we're all good. So we're going to go ahead and let it install. Should be real quick. Once it's complete, then I think we have just one more thing to do as far as DHCP configuration, and we'll go from there. Now, James, what do you, I forgot to ask you earlier, what do you do currently for your organization?
My role is the Associate Network Engineer, GSU.
Nice, nice, nice.
A bunch of patching in ports and setting up the correct interfaces, VLANs and stuff like that. And lately we've been doing building cutovers, but had to take because we ran out of equipment from Cisco. They're like dealing with the chip shortage and stuff like that. We haven't been able to get like extra equipment to finish up the rest of the building. So we did the Atlanta campus and have some of the other PC campuses to go. But mainly that.
Nice. How long have you been in the field? A couple of years?
The IT field in general since 2017 October. Into it, yeah. I don't think I've been in here long. I kind of find my call late in life. So
hey man, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So quick switch over, guys. Sorry to cut you off, James, but what it's doing now, it's rebooting. And James, back to your question, that's one of the instances where it had to reboot automatically.
Okay.
It was needed for that service. And that's Microsoft programmed that for certain services because it just needs to build up its entire script again so that it knows, okay, hey, now when you run, use this service.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right, so we're going to wait for it to boot back up. And whenever it boots back up, we're going to see a difference in as far as our logging. It's going to have Courtney's domain name that she created. It's going to have spiderwarrior.net and then the administrator account.
What operating system do you have on the PC there on the network?
That's hosting my Eve.
Yes, right. Yes.
Oh, Windows 10.
Windows 10. Wow. And you're doing this all on
Windows. Say it again.
And you're running this all on a laptop?
No, so here's what I'm doing. So I got, again, old desktop for my first help desk job. Again, they gave it to me as like a gift, right? And I upgraded the CPU to a 8-core, and put in some RAM. Set up I bought like a Windows 10 Pro license because you can't RDP unless you have Windows 10 Pro. Set that up. Once I got that set up, boom, I was able to RDP. And I set up to the point to where, since it's a hosted service that's running Eve, I can just, and it's on my local network, I can go ahead and just type in the IP address and just log in. So I don't even have to RDP into it. And
I'm wondering.
Eve sits on top of Linux, Ubuntu 8. Yeah, I believe it's so I got Eve running in a VM environment.
In a VM, okay, that's right. Yeah, that you said is ultimately on a Windows machine. Yeah,
so the Windows is acting as the hypervisor that it sits on top of. So this isn't a bare metal install of Eve.
I think that last part.
But say it again.
I think the last bare metal mention confused me a little bit, but I think as I understand your setup is it's a physical Windows machine that you're running.
I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you. Yeah, we can take a little break in there. Yeah, I'll show you.
Sorry about the details. Yeah, because I do have EVE-NG, and though I've got iOS for Cisco Router and Switch on there, and in the past I've had like a Linux on my virtual machine, and it was a bunch of work to install. So every now and then the thing tends to slow down. I just imagine that if you don't have a beefy computer, it could kind of slow it down. And so I see
that's true.
A whole server on here, and then you got another PC with its own. You're not using a virtual machine PC, you're using a whole, you said Linux, I think.
Yeah. So I got
Windows Pro.
Yeah. I got Windows Pro because, of course, I needed that so I can RDP into it. But and it got everybody else that's attending is sorry for this side step, but I think this is important for everybody. But yeah, I'm running Windows 10 Pro. I first had a 1625 CPU in here, but that was my Claude knows. Claude was he'd be in here sometimes. I would throw my computer out the window because I mean Eve kept crashing when I had that, so I upgraded to a 2650 10 core processor. So I mean Eve is super stable now ever since upgrading to that. And I mean I got that CPU for like $33 off eBay.
That sounds like a pretty powerful CPU. Those Xenons, I think they're typically in servers, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. So I Jimmy rigged that, and it was able to fit in this Lenovo P500, and yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll scale back the question.
No, it's all good. No, please don't scale back. You all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So back to our Windows server. So now we see, right? So now the administrator accounts, it's before it has the domain name or the NetBIOS name of Spider-Man War. So we're gonna log in. This is where everybody's gonna. Oops. 1, 2, 3. And this is where everybody's gonna go ahead and we're gonna spin up. We're gonna spin up Active Directory users and computers, and we're gonna have everybody create their own user account. Real simple. Yeah. And we're gonna let Adamola, because Adamola been quiet. I'm gonna let him create his first account. Now, Adamola, don't be frightened. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through every step on how to create your account. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing I'm using an iPad, so it might be kind of difficult for me to use the mouse.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Like I'm on an iPad, so it might be difficult for me to be able to use the mouse.
You're on an iPad. Is there? And I'm glad you brought that up. Is there anybody else that's just using a phone or using a PC?
I'm on iPad also.
You're on iPad? Okay, no big. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
That's what I mean. I'm on my laptop.
You're on your laptop? Okay. Claude, what about you? You're on your laptop too?
Yeah, I'm on my desktop.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Claude got the IBM computer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All good. So I'm gonna let Courtney go first. And Courtney, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you remote control over my screen, and I'm gonna walk you through step by step on how to create a user account, and then you're gonna create your user account, and you're gonna set a password for yourself. Okay.
All right.
Let me put your remote control. All right, Court, you got control. Try to shake the mouse a little bit, see if it works.
It's working.
Working? There you go. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go do this step by step. So the domain you created, we call this SpidermanWarrior.net. Yep. In that left navigation pane where you see bulletin computers, you see where that's at? So those are different OUs.
Yep.
The term for OU is organizational unit. So can you guess where we're going to create that user account in? Which OU?
This is going to be in, what is that, computers?
Close. So if we're going to create a user.
Oh, you said users. So it's going to be in users here.
There you go. Exactly. Perfect. So now we're in the correct OU. So what I'm going to need you to do, we're going to go on the right side. We're going to go in and we're going to right click in an empty space. Okay. We're going to click on new.
Yep.
And it gives us options. There you go. We're going to click on user. Now go ahead, give whatever name you want to give it. You don't even have to use your full name. There you go. Nice. And this is the name that you're going to use to log into that Windows PC.
I'm just realizing as I'm seeing Courtney fill this out, that this must be the same Windows and process that the what do you call the enterprise groups or the IT groups at an organization would go through to set
There
up
you
a
go.
user after they go to HR and stuff like that.
Exactly. But see, even right now, and I love Windows networking, and I can't wait to dig into it some more. Great job, Courtney, by the way.
Thank you.
With Windows networking, and Courtney, I'm gonna go ahead and give Claude control
Okay.
while I'm talking. Whoops. Hold on, there you go. Claude, you got control. So the thing about it now, James, they made it to the where, and I was watching over my Windows admin, my last 2 jobs, dude, automated to the point to where if HR creates a request for a new employee, a script will run and automatically create a user account.
Wow.
And if they're even using Azure, they can set it up to the point to where if HR creates a user, if you're good enough with scripts, you can create a dynamic tag to where it'll, 1, create the user, and 2, automatically put the user, assign the user roles or what have you, to the point where you don't even have to do anything. HR just click one of the buttons, they already configured.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, dude, pretty cool.
So they're doing
Look
these
at Claude being.
in Azure.
Claude, why are you being complicated?
No,
I'm joking, Claude. I'm joking. Go ahead, James.
No, that's pretty fascinating. That's I know I hear they're automating a lot of things in different various groups in IT, and so I'm definitely learning how to create scripts and programming languages is a way to go.
Yeah, I had to do it. Yeah, I had to do it I had to learn it for my CCNP last year. So I played around in Packet Tracer mostly, and in Packet Tracer and in EvenG, creating some scripts. Creating some scripts using a JSON base.
Right.
And then pushing it down to a switch, and it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay.
What would you say? What was the most difficult task to learn? Because I wanted to ask you that question.
Oh no, that's a good one. I gotta say,
or not even just
it goes
difficult
back
to learn, but just something that you had to like repetitively go over so it can be able to see things.
Repetitively do. I would say adding PCs to a domain.
Okay.
Adding PCs to a Windows server to keep it simple. It was tough because it just didn't make sense to me of what was happening in the background. And I think for me, I need to see what's behind the curtain so my mind can conceptually understand it. Claude, you need 8 characters for your password.
Okay.
Yeah. My bad, dog. I should have told you that.
No problem. That's a real world. Yeah. That's a real world situation.
Yeah, it's all good.
That is a real world situation.
But yeah, Courtney, I think it's that, and then that, and just printer server management. And when I was on help desk, we had to, if we were getting new printers for a new site, we had to add them to the print server. And even though I had the instructions in front of me, again, and it might just be my quirky thing, but it just didn't make sense. Like, how are printers talking to that? But then now that.
Sorry, I didn't cut you off. But that's,
go ahead. No, it's all good.
That's interesting because literally who I'm training. So I got the opportunity to train under 3 different people when I was starting last week and stuff. And one of my coworkers was saying the same thing. It was just something that is kind of difficult to do the same thing with the printers. It's just
Hmm.
some days is good, and then some days it's like it's off. And sometimes she's just like, dang it, like when can she catch a break where it's just like 100%, 100% every day where she's able to get it. But
Yeah.
last week was pretty good because I got to work with doing the LMI, doing
Ooh.
learning LMI, learning more so
I'm
of
jealous. Yeah, I'm jealous now. Dang
yeah.
it. I'm serious. I haven't played with that in a minute.
What else was it? Password resets using Okta, using Zscaler,
Ooh,
all of those good things.
Okta, nice. And Okta's a good tool. Not the segue, but Okta, they made it to the point to where, dude, you can reset AD passwords in Okta.
Yeah.
And Okta would talk to the AD. Oh my God. That's beautiful right there. To me, that's beautiful because you can log into Okta anywhere.
Right.
So that's, yeah. I can be playing the game at home and a user got locked out. I'm like, oh God, all right, let me set your password. Let me go back to playing, to playing Animal Crossing or something.
Exactly.
You got control.
Cool. All right. So we got the two accounts. We got Claude and there we go. We got Charm Friday. Cool, perfect. So we got the account. Perfect. Now we're gonna test it. So the first thing we do, we're gonna boot up this Windows PC. We gotta add it to the domain. I'm gonna go ahead and do this part. Just like I told y'all, this was the bane to my existence. So I'd rather not throw this on y'all during this session because that's gonna be a lot to explain. But after we add it, then I'm gonna have both of y'all try to test the login, and then we good to go. LMI, Jesus, it's been a minute.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fun. I think that's so.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this role that you got, soak it all in. Just be a sponge.
I am.
I mean,
definitely.
Legit. I don't know what your future goals is. As far as in the IT space.
I want to go more towards cybersecurity.
Nice.
I already said that cybersecurity engineer is more so a goal. But I don't mind working. So I wanted my next role to be more so with SOC analyst. So kind of like build up my skills as I'm going up the ladder. And then actually I am not.
What's wrong?
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to be closed-minded when it comes down to opportunities because I also think that learning both sides where it comes to offense and defense is pretty good to be able to learn how the system works. So, like I said, cybersecurity, the engineer part, protecting the system is important to learn both sides. So
most def, and just learning everything that you learn. Like, and I think it was stuff that I didn't understand why I had to do it on help desk at first, but now that I am where I am, I'm like, all right, this is where I thought I was. I thought I was right back in the day, but my my mentors and my supervisors were actually right. I had to learn something small like DNS port numbers so that when I become a cybersecurity engineer, cool, I can look at a Wireshark and be like, oh, this is the port number. Okay, this makes sense.
Exactly.
So, guys, don't ever put that as your password hint ever. I'm terrible. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let this boot up, add it to the domain. All right, cool. So we're logged in, and we are. Let's keep it simple.
I'm excited to see this thing work.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm always adding computers. I always had to add computers to domain, but like, you allow us to see kind of the whole picture where the AD server is set up in the first place, and and the user is added, and now it's like, okay, basically we can see the whole picture.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And guys, I missed an important step. There's no way that I can register the Windows PC to the server if it doesn't have an IP address.
Address. Yep.
Right. So I got to set up DHCP. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. But I'll cover it again more grandly in another session.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and configure a scope. And I think my network was a 192.168. Okay, so Class C, perfect. I can do that. And oops, heavy-handed. Sorry, Windows. Don't get mad at me. Oh, sorry, Windows.
All these things are good to know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's and I didn't, again, I was closed-minded. Like when I first got an IT, I was like, I don't want to be a network engineer, and that's it. Cisco, that's it. Nothing else. Dude, you know, I met so many great mentors and people. I had a boss, she was excellent. She opened my eyes into Linux networking, to Windows networking. I mean, it's huge. So yeah. My eyes have definitely been opening.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Spider-Man, Warriors, VLAN. I feel like that's a show. I feel like I watched that. Like was it Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors on Disney or something? I don't know.
It probably is. I just thought
It
about
is? Okay. All right.
me and Spider-Man.
Sorry, I'm a big 250-pound nerd, so I need to grow up someday.
Okay. Always will be a Spider-Man. Will always love all the characters.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait for do you think, all right, sidetrack, is Tobey Maguire in the next movie?
No.
I need to understand that. He's not.
I wish he could come back.
He needs to come back. Toby keep playing. He playing on my emotions. All right.
He needs to come back. That was one of the best.
He needs to come.
That was one of the best.
No, I think that situation is Toby got caught up in that whole rift between Marvel and Marvel Studios and all the other good stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sad case.
Go ahead. There go Jermaine. My boy. Here, I'm about to get on Jermaine, y'all. I know y'all gonna laugh in the background.
Yeah, no, I need to catch up on those this new series of Spider-Man's, the No Way Homes or no. I think I need to catch up. I think there's 3 of them now, isn't it?
Yeah, no, just 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think 2. I think the second one's about to come out.
Yeah, I know the
I
next
might be
one.
wrong though.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, because I know I started looking at it was something I was that's Hawkeye. That's it. Hawkeye has a series on Disney. And I was looking at something, and of course, anything Marvel, you liable to get an advertisement or something. And they were talking about Spider-Man, and I was thinking that was the 3rd one in the installment. But I got to catch up on, like I said, on the first 2.
Yeah, that's one thing I said I wanted to get. I wanted to get Disney Plus because they have a lot of good shows on there.
Oh yes. Oh dude. I mean, first of all, I just watched Lion King for the first time with my niece. Freaking amazing. Okay. All right. I should. My big tail had no business shedding a tear with my niece. All right. It was that good. I was deprived of my childhood.
Lion King?
No, it was the original. I never watched it. We didn't have cable growing up, so
okay.
or we had money to go to the movie theaters or anything like that. So when I watched it, I said, "Yo, Mufasa, you dirty son, you dirty." Don't call me. So
No, it was the part
It
when
was dope.
when they were in the valley, and
Yeah.
yeah, that hurt my feelings.
Yeah. It got me. Listen, and then it was an emotional roller coaster. I told my niece, "You would never see me like this again."
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of it.
It's a
Jermaine,
powerful
why you late?
film, man.
Why you late, Jermaine? Go ahead and say something.
God dang, Claude. Yeah.
I guess I should have did that on a one-on-one message. I think I had it. Yeah, it's set for everyone. I should have had that on a one-on-one.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, just to introduce y'all, Jermaine, he was somebody I worked with previously. Great guy. We're both going for our CCIE together. So, he busts my chops just as much as I bust his chops. So definitely advise y'all getting a homie or somebody that, you share goals with, in the IT world. Definitely appreciate Jermaine. So, and I'm gonna bother him probably after this session. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah. So don't think you got off easy, Jermaine. You still late. All right. So we're coming up on 9 o'clock. So now that I confirmed our PC was able to get an IP address from Windows Server, now we're going to add it to the domain so we can test our users that you guys created can go ahead and log in, okay? So here's how we do it. I'm old school, so I opened up File Explorer, right-clicking on this PC. And I am going to go to change settings.
Yeah, I like the traditional menu too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm old school. I can't do that. So we're gonna leave the computer name the same. Typically, like because when I got my desktop support, and Courtney, you'll definitely see this whenever you move up to like desktop support or help desk, that your Windows admins will either tell you to change the name, they got a certain naming schema, or you just leave the name as is. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and this is where we're going to put the domain name that Courtney created, SpidermanWarriors.net here, so that it can add to the domain. Oops. Warriors.net. And it's going to ask me for, hey, admin username and password. I'm going to wait for that.
So it's not that 15 character one. We removed the.
It might be.
Yeah, so I
Test it.
think the domain is war.
Yeah.
Is it war?
Yeah, 2 R's. It might be. That might be that. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, assuming that all goes through.
Now that account, I don't remember being set up, that admin account. Maybe I missed.
Nope. No, that was already default. Whenever you set up Windows Server, the administrator account is automatically configured.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's automatically configured. Give it a minute. And Jay, you had some experience with Windows Server in previous roles, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Any advice you share with folks that got their first help desk gig or anything like that on how to build up their skills?
In regards to what, from a server side?
From
Or
a server
help desk
side, yeah.
Server side. Hey, just slab it up. Do what we're doing now. Build it up. Build out your domain. Build out your DC. And test it out. Join your PC to the domain. See what OU it joins to. Move them to different OUs. Create your group policies and push them and test. That's how I did it when I was on the help desk side from a server standpoint. Yeah, and it's straightforward and easy, man. I'm not gonna say easy. I take that back. It's But with practice, you'll get it and just continue elaborating and doing it. But yeah, that's what I did. I would create the DC like you're doing now, do your DNS server, add a PC, and just move it to different OUs and push group policies. You know, if whatever you're testing for. But no, it's, what you guys are doing now is good.
Capital S, lowercase s, spider.
Ah. That's have a DNS. Ah,
We ain't create
That's the
DNS
issue.
yet, did we?
Y'all didn't do DNS on the DC?
No.
no, we
Okay.
no, we did. No, we did. Hold on. And again, this we probably just have to configure that manually. Let's do that.
You did on the
Yeah,
DC?
that's automatic. Yeah, that's already
Yeah,
done.
but yeah, and you go through it. Yeah. So what is it doing? It's not getting the DNS.
It didn't. No, because I didn't even on this box. It's I looked at it. It's not even result. I don't think it even got the DNS server information. So let me just double check.
Do the all. Is
You
that?
can
Oh,
say
that's it.
/
Yeah. Where is it? DNS right there.
Yep,
169. It didn't get it.
See, it didn't get it exactly. It should be configured. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, go back to that way.
Yeah, let's pop it in. It's a good troubleshooting. Let's take a look. Ah,
Yeah. You added the role, but you had to configure it. Is that what it
exactly.
is?
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
Is it case sensitive?
What
The domain name you put in there. I noticed you put
not
lowercase.
necessarily.
Okay.
DNS will resolve it. Yeah,
Okay.
and Jermaine, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not case sensitive. It should resolve it.
Yeah, I don't think it is. It resolves it.
Well, it's doing that just for the sake of time. Let's go ahead and just manually put in DNS server information. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Perfect. Now, all right. All right. All right, let's try the other way. Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot. You may have. Okay. I know the issue that we're having.
What's your domain?
Spider War, like you saw I was typing, but I think I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, spiderwarriors.net, but I'm trying to put in the net BIOS name, which I don't think I should have to put in.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'll try the DNS.
The FQDN.
Actual, yeah. I'll put that in next.
Let me. That's what I was saying. What is it? So it's .net.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man Warriors. Here's hold on. This is the net BIOS name. That's why I put that first.
Yeah.
And
I
that's FQDN.
I think that's gonna work.
That's what I needed. Okay.
I'm wondering if that don't work, put the domain as the FQDN at the bottom there.
Gotcha.
And try it again.
Now let's just go over to our Windows server. It's a good troubleshoot. Make sure I need this. It's running fine. Back 4. Okay.
Oh, that's for the DHCP. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's already complete. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, if it don't go through, do the FQDN. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
I think I know what it is. Hold on.
Okay.
No, Jay, you're right though. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Try that. All in there attempt. Spidermanwarrior.net. Warrior. Go back. Warrior. It's warrior. Oh, yeah. I can't spell.
No, me neither, apparently.
Restart.
Let's do this.
Oh, I just found the Zoom function. There we go.
What
There
happened?
we go.
What'd you find?
The Zoom function, so I can get close to this little behind text that's on this screen right here.
All right, so let's do this. Let's see if this doesn't work. Yeah, I'm going to add that to administrators group. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Perfect. That was some good troubleshooting. My boy Jermaine. Thanks, man. We still ain't cool though. But you know.
I figured.
I like the delay. I like the delay. You always do that. You always do that. I see how it is. All right. So now that we've troubleshot that, and that's good and working now we're gonna final step have Courtney and Claude log in using their AD user account that they created, and we'll go from there. And guys, I'm gonna keep this lab so that whenever we dig into different stuff within AD, we're gonna come right back to it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I bring that back down. Perfect. All right. Now, Court, I'm going to go ahead and let you be the first one. Log in. So you got control. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to use the same one that I had created before.
Your login name. So if you need to go back to Windows Server, we can to look at your login name, but it's different than your first and last name, how you got it set up.
Right.
I think it was like Charm and then CL something.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Okay, cool. There we go. Make a little nice password. And again, the reason why she has to change her password, I'm sure you guys saw it when I was creating
That
my
checkbox.
admin account.
Yeah, that
Right?
checkbox.
It's a checkbox. It tells you, user must change their password, and that's always advised whenever you guys creating a new user, what have you. But you guys being possibly administrators or what have you of Windows systems, if you're creating like a service account or just an admin account,
Right.
maybe you don't, maybe you know what you want your password to be. Set it flat like that and just uncheck that box.
Right.
So, real simple. But looks like Courtney is able to log in. And I'll let Claude log in to confirm his account works as well, and then we're good to go. Any questions? Any questions about the troubleshooting piece we were doing?
Yeah, I had a question.
That was a good one.
I had a question about that part because what I was
Sure.
trying to figure out why it was not working when you were trying to use the username that was under spidermanwarrior.net, but and you had to create a new user, and once you used a new user for Bongo, that ended up working. So what was it that just created that error there?
No, that's a good question. So the checks that Jermaine had me do, right? We checked to make sure it was a DNS server configured on the box. There was not. So that was missing, right? So we configured that, right? Then after that, I tried to log in with the administrator account. That didn't work, right?
All right.
So we did all of our checks, made sure the box had an IP address and what have you. Still didn't work. So what I presume it was, and this is what led me to create a new account, is I wanted to test and see and say, hey, if I create a new account, what'll happen? And if I add it to the administrators group, what'll happen if I try to log in? And that was my test. And that typically was my test whenever I used to, be on help desk, is that we had a default admin account. But if the default admin didn't count, I used my user account, right? And that's the reason why I created the Bongo account. So I wanted to make sure, hey, am I typing something wrong? I want to say I was typing the username administrator wrong. I got heavy fingers, so of course, sticky keys keep screaming at me. So,
I got you.
so that's, well, that's Claude now, but that's probably the case. So it probably was a mistype, but I went all I went through all those checks first because I just wanted to make sure, hey, is it based on the OSI model, right? Okay, layer
Right.
2, layer 3, we confirm layer 3 is fine because I have a IP address.
Right.
Let's check the upper layers. And that's what Jermaine was bringing me through. Like, hey, Dave, let's check X, Y, and Z or what have you.
Okay. Makes
So,
sense.
a couple things you can, a couple things you can use whenever, you may be in that situation in the future.
Okay. Yeah, and that's one of the things that literally this weekend I was watching videos on YouTube of the OSI model and like breaking it down, just remembering what's in each layer. And I kind of wanted to ask too, as far as any more videos that anyone knows about the OSI model of like breaking it down of like how like a real life example using the OSI model, like getting access to, for example, a person getting access to Instagram, Netflix.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I think there's a few, definitely. And you know what? And you just inspired me. We'll probably have a session where we go through that.
Okay.
And see how that works. Because Eve, I can actually connect Eve to the outside world, to the internet. So we'll go ahead and do that. Connect to Netflix, spin up a Wireshark, and Jermaine about to get happy because I just said Wireshark, and we're gonna take a look at those packets. So yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Sweet.
No problem. I'll let you know when that next section is. But it looks like Claude was able to log in. So all good. Our user accounts works. But yeah, like I said, this is the first step as to, troubleshooting anything within, a help desk role or what have you, whenever you first get started with Windows Server. So any questions, guys? Again, thanks again for the participation. I mean, the questions is dope questions, for real.
I will probably
So this is no different than creating users on your home PC.
Exactly.
Okay.
Claude, I'm glad you just said that. That is exactly it.
Right.
Now you're creating it on a remote PC.
Right.
That's it. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's more centralized.
It's more
right?
involved. Yeah, it's more. Yep.
Yeah.
It more sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say with the PC, creating the user on your PC, it's local to that PC, right? So if you if you create user 1 on PC 1, that user 1 can't log into PC 2, right? You're gonna have to create that same user 1, and it's going to be a different. I think it's called SID, security ID. So it's not the same user, although it's called user 1. However, when you have it on a DC or a domain controller or a domain environment, then that user 1 will be the same user. It has its own security ID, I believe it's called SID, and you can log into any So you can log into any device, any PC server with that user. So that's the difference and the benefit, I guess, with a domain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And any network resource for that matter that you can log into.
Yeah.
So definitely a good thing with a DC.
Yeah, because this had me thinking while you were actually doing the reboot session. Dave, you remember, I might have told you this, but a lot of things I've kind of like stumbled onto learning as far as Windows is concerned. And I remembered that I actually created a couple of users on this desktop that I have now. And I'm reminded of this every time I hit Control-Alt-Delete, because they'll ask me if I want to log out or switch to a different user. And I went to switch to a different user and all the audio from Zoom cut out. So I said, oh, did I lose myself? So then what I did was I actually wound, all the users is in that bottom corner. So I just clicked back to my main user and, use the credentials to get into that. And then the audio for Zoom came back on and y'all guys were still there. Nothing was disconnected. So, yeah. So the thing is, it's not an like Jermaine was describing. It's not an Active Directory situation, but going through the control panel, creating an additional user on the PC seemed like this was the same thing that this almost the same process here, which was shown tonight.
Yeah, because and if I understand correctly, if I remember correctly, SIDs are assigned to local users as well. Jermaine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are. And all in all, to keep it simple, every user on a PC has its own instance, and the PC can only run one instance at a time.
At a time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And so if you're on Zoom, right, on one user account, and somebody else in your house has to use the PC, guess what's happening to that Zoom session? If you're using, if you're connected to the internet on that Zoom session, boop, dropping.
Yeah.
Because Windows is not gonna, run concurrent sessions on one single box.
Right. As opposed to a server, you can have multiple sessions, server sessions, like a terminal server, where you can have multiple sessions on that one box.
And if you got a document up, it'll be up when you log back in to that user.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll keep your session state, right? It'll keep your session state, but it won't keep that instance running. Not at all.
I got you.
Not at all. But we won't dig in too deep. We'll go ahead and stop it here. Definitely for the next one, like I said, I'm going to keep this setup the same. Definitely for the next one, we're going to dig in.